It's time for match number 29 in IPL 2021 as we switch the action to Ahmedabad, where high-flying Delhi side are up against the confident-looking team of Punjab. When the two sides met a few days back, it was Gabbar Special that stole the show as Delhi won the match comfortably by 6 wickets and handed Punjab a major blow. Talking about recent form, both the sides are coming on the back of brilliant victories to their names as Prithvi Shaw's heroic thumped KKR. It was young Harpreet Brar against RCB who rose to the fame. While Delhi have a chance to go top on the points table, Punjab can also step ahead in the top 4 fight. It's Punjab versus Delhi tonight as we get set for Sunday's blockbuster match tonight.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Yuvraj Du, and you are, of course, watching SportsTiger. Another big game planned for us today. First, Hyderabad and Rajasthan going up against each other, and now Delhi and Punjab, the oldest of rivalries, now going up against each other. KL Rahul will be missing out because he has been diagnosed with acute appendicitis. But to discuss all of it, I have with me Monty Panesar, of course. Monty, welcome. You're mobile today and you're moving. But KL Rahul missing out today because he's been admitted in the hospital. He's got acute appendicitis. That's a new thing we've heard because mostly cricketers miss out on matches due to injuries. But this is not an injury. It's some sort of disease that is contracted. How big of a loss do you think KL Rahul absence will be for Punjab?
Yeah, it's going to be a massive loss because he's the highest, I think one of the highest run getters, if not the guy who is in form and takes on the attack, gives that momentum to Punjab Kings innings. So I don't know who's going to be doing that, but someone needs to step up for Punjab Kings. I know it's interesting. We forget the likes of Chris Gale is playing, They got Nicholas Pooran, they got maybe David Malan, maybe he'll be playing today. But it's KL Rahul is just, he's been so dominant in the team, and it's just, you forget about the other superstars.
Absolutely, I think, and there'll probably be only one change today. Mayank Agarwal coming in for KL Rahul, and rest of the team should probably remain the same, and the 4 overseas players should also be the same. And of course, before starting, we'll also tell you about what's in store for you, what's in the show, everything that's coming forward in this show. First, the probable playing 11, what changes are we expecting, then the players to watch out for, and as and when the toss happens, we'll let you know about it and discuss a bit with Monty. And then the playing 11, the actual playing 11 for both teams, and then the fantasy team that you need to pick to excel in today's game, of course. And Monty, contrasting seasons for both teams again. Delhi have a chance to go top of the table today if they win, because top 3 teams have 5 wins each, but Punjab more games. But last game was a dominant performance. So do you think Delhi still hold the edge, or Punjab, can they trump a surprise against Delhi?
Well, I think Punjab's the team that can take on Delhi. Delhi's a strong team, and I expect Delhi to win this anyway because they just look like a much stronger outfit. Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan is probably the best opening partnership. Akshar Patel is back, who's obviously good. Amit Mishra, he's been in fabulous form. And the only probably question is maybe to do with the fast bowlers. Rabada and Noki both haven't. Well, Noki hasn't played. We may even see him play today, but Rabada hasn't been at his best form. So, in my opinion, the team that's in form at the moment obviously is Delhi Capitals, but Punjab Kings, we don't know that Mr. Harpreet Singh, he may just surprise, he surprised all of us against RCB, and when you bring in a new player like that, which the other teams haven't seen, that can always be a surprising factor.
Harpreet Brar in the last game was like, what are you guys doing? I got Maxi out, I got AB out, I got Virat out. What are the other guys doing? It's just walk in the park for me. But let's move on to the points table now. How are the teams slotted in their respective positions at the moment? As I said earlier, top three teams, they've won 5 games each, but due to the virtue of net run rate, Chennai are at the top. Mumbai won their 4th game against Chennai, of course, last time around. Pollard absolutely taking them by storm. And then Punjab, 3 wins out of 7 games. Kolkata, Rajasthan, and Hyderabad and Rajasthan, of course, going up against each other, but it looks like that Rajasthan will come out on top. So, do you think the first 4 teams that are slotted at the top 4 right now, they'll be probably there in the playoffs, or do you think one of the teams can actually give us a surprise?
Well, I think, look, I think Kolkata, a couple of wins, they're back in the mix. Mumbai, that win was how important was that win for Mumbai? Just looking at the table now. I think, it's the surprise. The games, they're surprising us for these games. But if Delhi win tonight, I think then the group starts to sort of, the divide starts happening. So this is crucial, I think, to keep all the other teams in the hunt. I think Kolkata, Rajasthan, Mumbai, they all need Punjab to win.
They would want Punjab to win so that they can bridge the divide, and there's not much of a contrast between the top 4 and bottom 4. And today, of course, Rajasthan and Hyderabad going up against each other. If Rajasthan win, they'll of course move up the table, and if Hyderabad win, they will also get 2 points, which will also balance it out. Next, we'll move on to the probable playing 11. Of course, are we expecting any changes in both the teams? There will be one change. Mayank Agarwal will come in place for KL Rahul. And do you think, Monty, 4 ducks for Nicholas Puran this season, and now is the correct time to bring David Malan in? Because we know Nicholas Puran can be very destructive. He can be one of the best T20 players on his day, but he's just not performed. So what do you do now?
Yeah, definitely. It is the perfect time to bring David Malan. I expect him to play because, he's been the best T20 batsman, and David Malan actually is hopefully in fine form. He's able to perform really well for England on numerous occasions. So, in my opinion, with the captain not there, this is the time to bring him in. And again, when you bring some of the new players in, other teams may be difficult to adjust, but you look at, you look at Delhi and you think, Avish Khan, really good. Ishant Sharma, he's going to bowl that test match length and during the power play. And Rabada probably is maybe the weakest out of the 3 at the moment. And if Rabada fires, it's like this is a perfect, actually, 11 they've got at the moment. So that's what I believe. This looks like Delhi will win. But I think rest of the other group, which are below Delhi, would want Punjab to win.
They would want Punjab to win, and I think they will be giving their everything because it's been a long time since they've qualified for the playoffs, and this might be their season. They'll go to a 50% win percentage if they actually win this game. Talking about Punjab playing 11, of course, David Malan is expected to be there at number 3. Then Prabh Simran Singh is likely to get another go. Deepak Hooda, Shah Rukh Khan and Harpreet Brar was really impressive in the last game actually. Chris Jordan, Riley Meredith, Ravi Bishnoi and Mohammad Shami form their bowling core. And if we move on to Delhi now, Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan at the top of the order, no question about that. Steve Smith, would you keep Steve Smith just in there for his fielding? Because he's like a bucket on the boundary, never drops catches, but his batting has been a point of concern for them. Do you think they'll be persisting with Steve Smith for longer this season?
As long as I think Delhi Capitals winning, sometimes when you have a winning 11, there could be some players like Steve Smith. He's obviously not performing, but he's obviously contributing in the field, and maybe Rishabh Pant likes, having a senior player in there. Just during the pressure situations, he can sort of rely on Steve Smith in certain fielding positions, and also just having him there. So, look, we can look at individual performances, but as 11, this is probably their best 11. When playing against any of the teams.
And since Kagiso Rabada is not looking at his prime best right now, would your first preference automatically directly will be Anrik, or because Chris Wokes has played earlier, he's impressed everyone with his good lines and length. He's taken wickets as well. Would you consider giving Chris Wokes a go, or Anrik is your complete direct choice?
I would definitely go for Nokia, Andre Nokia, because I think the high arm bowlers, they are having more of a success. And Chris Wokes, yeah, great, but um, they've got that position covered with Akshay Patel. I think you can afford to have a look at Andre Nokia, because when it comes to the big playoff games, at least they've got options. They know how Rabada, Nokia, and Chris Wokes can perform, and then they can pick and choose. So. Um, Again, I would like to see Nokia play at some stage. So it's a question of Rishabh Pant. Does he want to change the 11, or he wants to continue with Rabada?
I think he'd love to continue because Rabada did fairly well in the last game. Again, not his best, but he's slowly and steadily coming back to what he can do, of course. Latest update is that David Malan will be making his debut. Now, number one T20 player in the world right now. He'll be playing at number three most probably, or maybe Prabh Simran Singh. What do you think? Where will they bat Chris Gale today now that David Malan has come in? Because they have Mayank Agarwal. And I think perfect opportunity to get Chris Gale back to where he belongs at the opening slot.
Yeah, look, I expect Chris Gale to open the batting and Milan to be at three. Hitma's the other team, but Huda, he'll probably be number four. So that looks strong. That looks like a strong team there, and it looks perfect.
Yep, Chris Gale should open, in my opinion, I think, because that's where he scored most of his runs. And today is another opportunity for him to go back to that opening slot. Next, we'll move on to the players to watch out for, of course. And as we were talking earlier about Chris Gale, that is our first player that we will have our eyes on, Chris Gale. And then, of course, Prithvi Shaw, who's been so good this season. Monty, Prithvi Shaw, there is a definite change in his approach while batting. He's improved on a lot of things. Could you point out some things that he's worked on this season from previous season? Of course, because he looks much more consistent this season.
Yeah, it's that back elbow. His elbow that comes through. He holds that position, makes him to play the ball late, and he can hit it sort of wherever he wants then. And I think that's really helping him in terms of his technique, because his elbow on his bottom hand stays very close to the body. So then any movement that happens off the pitch, by the time the ball arrives, it's straight on for him. So he negates the movement, and actually he can pierce the field and the gap. You can play it late, you can play it really early. So that technical aspect to his game has helped a lot. And it's great to see, because Prithvi Shaw is a fantastic talent, and I'm glad he's able to work hard and rectify his problems from last year's IPL.
It's all about that, isn't it? Learning on the job, and that's what he's done quite well, and we see a definite improvement this season. Again, news from the center is that Delhi have won the toss. They have elected to field first. And Monty, do you think dew will be the prime factor in this decision? Because there's a lot of dew we saw in the last couple of games at Ahmedabad, ball flying and water splashing all around. Do you think dew is the main factor, or are Delhi more comfortable in chasing just in general?
Yeah, look, I think the team always wins the toss, looks to field first. Is the dew factor is a massive thing. So and Delhi are also concerned with Chris Gale. He's a big player, and if they can sort of get the two big players out early, because I think Chris Gale finds it a lot easier chasing a total when he knows what are the requirements of the run rate, rather than now he's probably has to set that total. And we've seen him play some fantastic innings. He got at the start of the games, he got 40 odd from 32 balls and didn't really kick on. So they probably look to the reason why toss, because many teams they which win the toss and they normally put the opposition in because it's far easier to chase a total than actually set the total.
Chris Gale will have to set the tone today, because they're batting first, and most probably he will open along with Mayank Agarwal. Mayank Agarwal will be captaining the team today in the absence of his Karnataka mate and his best friend KL Rahul, so he maybe knows the team best. And Malan is there in for Puran, of course, who who was going through a very rough patch in his batting. As far as Delhi team goes, there are no changes, so the combination remains the same. Marcus Stoinis, Steve Smith, Shimron Hetmeyer, and Kagiso Rabada as their four overseas players. Lalit Yadav, after his wonderful performance in the last game, retains his place. Akshar Patel is there, Ishant Sharma, Avesh Khan, and the top order remains the same. So there are no changes, and of course, completing our players to watch out for. Harpreet Brar in the last game was the game changer, of course, in the second innings, and then Steve Smith. Who we are watching out for in this game. Takes a lot of catches, but we also expect him to perform with bat in hand. And Monty, if we talk about Steve Smith, do you think he needs to alter his approach a bit in this T20 format? Because we know he's not that big of a power hitter. His game is more suited to maybe one-day cricket and, of course, one of the best in Test cricket. So do you think he needs to make a conscious effort while playing this format, or can he play his natural game and still excel at it?
I think Steve Smith is. It doesn't really need to, alter his game. There's no. I don't think they're expecting a lot from him, because even though he's a fantastic cricketer, they've got other players who are covering that sort of base. So it's like, actually, just you're part of the winning combination. And some seasons they are the great players who may not perform well, but the team is keeping winning, and I think that's a good position for Delhi to be in, which allows to play Steve Smith and doesn't put pressure on him to perform. So he can just play as he does, without that pressure, because I think he contributes well in the field. His experience, I think helps Rishabh Pant. So he brings other things to the game, and it's finding the 11. That's what's more important than individual performance. Is the 11 that keep winning, and he definitely is part of that best 11.
I think that international game experience obviously comes into play, and Steve Smith might be one of the guides that is there for Rishabh Pant in the side, and that's why he has been retained. Talking about Punjab, one forced change, that is KL Rahul going out and Mayank Agarwal, of course, coming in, and he'll be captaining the side. Prabsimran Singh has been slotted at the top of the order. And we might see him opening again with Mayank Agarwal. Chris Gayle might be at number 3. But we'd want personally for Chris Gayle to open the innings. And apart from that, David Malan will be there, one overseas player instead of Nicholas Puran, of course, and Chris Gayle, Chris Jordan, and Riley Meredith, who might retain his place who has retained his place in the side after a good bowling performance last game. Now we'll move on to the best tweets and what the viewers have to say about today's game. First, the tweet is by Prashant at the Stubborn One. Make Mandeep Singh captain. He has a good record of captaincy while captaining for Punjab in Ranji T20 matches. Mandeep replaces Prabsimran, Malan in for Puran. That hasn't happened, of course, but we can keep this in mind for future games. Gayle and Mandeep should open. Gayle, Malan should open. What do you think about that? A very offbeat opinion and out of the box thinking, but I don't think that might be the best choice, because Mandeep Singh hasn't played a lot with this team and Mayank Agarwal has played more. So do you think there is a minute chance of making Mandeep Singh the captain just because he's captained Punjab in Ranji Trophy and domestic matches?
Yeah, well, look, I can see the angle they're coming from, local guy, captaining the team, but they, as much as this person must be a fan of Punjab cricket, I think KL Rahul is doing a fantastic job at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. And again, as I said earlier, Mandeep Singh hasn't played enough matches. He's been in the dressing room, he's been in training sessions, he's been the 12th man for quite a while, but you have to have played the game with the players for a long time to have captained them, and he's not done that enough. So we're sorry, Prashant. I hope this doesn't offend you much, but KL Rahul is doing a fine job at the moment captaining Punjab. Then we move on to Manas Deshpande at UTTIMAX 002. Some changes for Punjab. Bring in Arshdeep Singh for Chris Jordan, as he will bring in the left arm angle, and Moises Enriquez in middle order for Prabsimran Singh and open with Gayle. So Manas, it hasn't happened this game, but we can also discuss about future games. He's saying that Arshdeep Singh should be back. He's been very impressive, I think. And Chris Jordan should go out. Moises Enriquez should come in instead of Prabsimran, who's just got one game this season. What do you think about these changes? I agree about Arshdeep Singh coming in, but taking Chris Jordan out again because he's been prolific with bat in hand, Chris Jordan. So these changes, what is your opinion on these? Do you think you will go for these in the next game, or you'd persist with this combination itself?
Well, so we're suggesting that Nicholas Puran keeps.
I think so. Nicholas Puran will have to keep. He'll also have to come in for David Malan because they'll have no other keeper. I don't think Mayank Agarwal can keep the wicket. So let's give him that Nicholas Puran will be coming in instead of David Malan. Moses Enriquez will be coming in, and Prab Simran is there, so Prab Simran will keep. So we don't need Nicholas Puran instead of David Malan. So Prab Simran will keep, and he wants him to open with Chris Gale as well, and Moises Enriquez in the middle order. So overall, do you think the balance of the team will be right if we have this combination, or current combination looks better to you?
Yeah, it's an interesting combination. I think if they wanted Nicholas Puran to keep. But then I think KL Rahul, fits that job obviously quite well. It's look, you don't want to complicate the issue. I think Prab Simran Singh is doing a good job as a keeper, and I think that's a nice combination they've got. I think David Malan, we've got to give him a chance. You want him out of the team before he's faced a ball in IPL. So let's give him a chance and see how he goes. Yeah, this team's a good team. It's exciting. Part of the IPL is actually bringing in youngsters who haven't actually played, and they just become a surprise factor. So maybe at some point when Mumbai Indians make the playoffs, it'd be nice to see Arjun Tendulkar. It's great we see all the other superstars, but it's always nice once in a while to see the youngsters, the fringe players, who we don't really know much about. Give them a go as well. We want to see them. We want to see what they're like. Like Harpreet, was fantastic. When he got 3 wickets, it was exciting, and I loved every minute because he was a left-arm spinner.
Absolutely. I think you would be reminiscing those old times when he was bowling, because he was turning the ball square as well. He also had that good arm delivery that came in with the arm, of course. So Harpreet Brar looks like a bright spot for them. Let's hope he can prolong his form and can keep taking wickets for Punjab if they have to make the playoffs, of course. Next, we'll move on to the fantasy guide and which players you need to pick in your fantasy team to get maximum points. First, of course, wicket keeping. We don't have KL Rahul today. Keeping will be Prab Simran Singh, but Rishabh Pant is a much better option. He's been very consistent. He's been giving Delhi runs all season, last season as well, before that as well. So Rishabh Pant will be the correct choice. Prithvi Shaw, who's in prolific form at the moment, almost ensures you a 50 whenever he goes out to bat. Shikhar Dhawan also in very, very good form at the moment, very close to that purple orange cap leaderboard. And then Chris Gale, who's of course one of the most prominent players that will be in the Punjab side. He has to lead from the front today, and he has to set this tone because Punjab will be batting first. Shah Rukh Khan, one domestic player who's been in form for Punjab, and we have picked him. We've shown faith in him as Punjab have. Akshar Patel and Marcus Stoinis, the 2 all-rounders who always give you something with bat or ball and in the field as well. Then, of course, Deepak Hooda, the one all-rounder that we have picked from Punjab. Avesh Khan has been Delhi's most prolific bowler, and he'll be giving you wickets for sure. He's picked up wickets in every game so far. So we do expect him to pick wickets again. Ravi Bishnoi and Mohammad Shamit, the 2 Indian bowlers we have picked from Punjab. Captain of this side would be Chris Gale. We are expecting a big hurricane innings from him today. Let's hope the Gale storm will land on this stadium today. Last time around, there was a sandstorm last 2 games before this. But today, let's hope there is a Gale storm. And Shikhar Dhawan will be the vice captain, a very reliable player this season because he plays at his pace. He gives you runs, doesn't get out too often. And of course, Shikhar Dhawan being the vice captain will hold you in good stead for this fantasy team. Monty, to me, this team looks very good, looks perfect. All the bowlers were in form. We've picked the all-rounders look perfect to me. The 4 batters, maybe there's a chance of Mayank Agarwal coming in, maybe because he'll open the innings, or maybe David Malan. Would you like to make any changes in this side?
Well, I look at this team, and got the spin option covered. You got the right paces in there, and even the batting actually. The combination of like experience of Gale, and Prithvi Shaw. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Seeing Prithvi Shaw and Gale actually open the batting together. That'd be quite exciting for Prithvi Shaw. So yeah, I look at all of this sort of team, and I think to myself, yeah, that's a great fantasy team there.
Absolutely, looks like a great fantasy team, and of course, Mayank Agarwal will be opening today, most probably. Along with him, it will be either Prab Simran Singh or it will be either Chris Gale. Like for Chris Gale to open, and David Milan will be there, of course. If you're just joining us, Delhi won the toss. They opted to field first, so Punjab will be batting first. There was one change, two changes in their side actually. Mayank Agarwal, who will be captaining the side after coming back instead of KL Rahul, who has been diagnosed with acute appendicitis. And of course, David Milan came in for Nicholas Puran. Delhi, on the other hand, clearly in better form, and they have made no changes. So it will be the same Delhi side versus Punjab, who have made two changes. Delhi winning the toss, opting to bowl first. And next, move on to the competition between the openers, of course, Shikhar Dhawan and Mayank Agarwal. Shikhar Dhawan in much better form, but two Indian internationals, considering the conditions, considering the kind of pitch we have in Ahmedabad, we've seen a slight grass cover here over the past few matches, and the ball runs a bit on the wicket and comes onto the bat quite nicely. Considering the conditions and considering recent form, who do you think can have the upper hand, Mayank Agarwal and Shikhar Dhawan between them?
Yeah. Look, I think Mayank Agarwal's been in good form, and he's playing this, free flowing. There's a lot of pressure now on Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw. I think that team looks good. David Malan we haven't seen much of. Harpreet Brar is batting or fielding. Batting or bowling is good. That looks like a good team there. I look at this way. Hardik. We got Steve Smith there. We got Hetmar, who did really well in the last game. Marcus Stoinis. Maybe, I don't know if you want to give him an over. No, he gave 23, which was obviously a lot of runs. It's going to be a cracker of a game because Riley Mertes was brilliant. They bowled when he got the RCB left-hander out. That was fantastic bowling. Again, it shows the value of in this IPL. If you bowl a good heavy ball in a power play, a test match length, it's still hard to hit, and if you get it wrong, you got a chance to get the people out. So there's a lot of talk about you need variation, you need to overthink things. Sometimes just a good test match length, especially in the power play, actually it's hard to hit a heavy ball. So yeah, that's always good. And then Shah Rukh Khan again, that he can hit a ball out of the ground. So like I look at both teams and I just think, I may just, without my Punjabi bias coming into place, I may just go for Punjab Kings today.
So we're rooting for Punjab today. Let's hope they can pull up a surprise today, because Delhi have been going great guns so far. 5 wins for them, and in equivalent amount of games, Punjab have won 3 games. So we've started with the reverse fixtures now. The last time they played, Delhi won comfortably, of course, and let's hope Punjab can square up things this time. And when Mayank Agarwal and Chris Gale might open, of course, or he bats at number 3, we know how dangerous Chris Gale can be. We are expecting a Gale storm today. He's also the captain of our fantasy side, and he can be very dangerous. He can take the game away for you. If you were Delhi, if you were the captain of Delhi, would you earmark a bowler for Chris Gale? And what specific plan could you have for a batsman of Chris Gale's kind? Maybe a Lalit Yadav who can fire in quick balls, fast and quick onto his pad. Or which of the bowlers suits you best against Chris Gale? What do you think the plan will be in general against Chris Gale and even Mayank Agarwal?
Yeah, they're both good players. I think they're very sensible. Like, I've got 5% left on my battery, so. If you can maybe make this the last question, so before it might die out to all the fans viewing in. Look, Chris Gale again. He always bats slowly, so I would look to get Rabisa Rabada, Ishan Sharma. Bowl heavy lengths at them. Get him to stop, not be so comfortable. He loves it when it's just nice and easy, and he can sort of get himself in, get used to the pace of the wicket. Ruffle him up, ruff his feathers up, see what happens. So yeah. This is going to be a good contest. and whichever team wins will be the team that plays the best cricket.
For sure. And lastly, Monty, just could you, before going, could you give us a man of the match prediction? Which player could be the player of the game today? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I may just have to go for Prabh Simran, the wicket keeper. He's exciting, superb talent, and it'll be wonderful to see him get the man of the match.
For sure, we want young players who we've not seen in the past to perform and go big in this IPL. That's where talent meets opportunity. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us, Monty, as well. We'll come back in the mid innings to discuss what happened in the first. And till then, enjoy the first innings. We'll come back. Keep watching Sports Tiger.